consciousness is happiness itself. And the reason for that is not because consciousness has a quality called happiness. It's actually because happiness is the name that we give. If you think of like consciousness as like open white light, it has no color, right? And when you shine that white light unrestricted into experience, just like how you would shine white light through a prism, it shines as the quality that we call happiness. On the relative level, consciousness being zero-dimensional, beyond space, beyond time, no size, shape, form, color, or texture. When it does shine through experience unrestricted by resistance, we call it happiness. That's the name that we give it. We give it that name. It's like and I've said this before, it's the way that we use the word whole. We're describing a negative, and happiness is describing the absence of resistance, and the absence of resistance is what we call happiness. All suffering, therefore, is a form of resistance. So let's think of it like this. There are 3 forms that suffering takes: seeking, aversion, and resistance. We're either averting from something, we're either seeking towards something, or we are resisting what we're currently experiencing without any sense of direction of where to, what else to seek or how to avert it. You see? Now, if you look at it like that, they're also actually all the same thing. If we're seeking something, it's because we're resisting our current experience. If we're resisting our current experience, we're seeking a different experience. And if we're averting our current experience, we're seeking something else, or we are resisting our current experience. Suffering doesn't take place in any other scenario. Think of another scenario. What other scenario have you suffered where you haven't been trying to either seek an experience or avoid an experience, or where you're not resisting an experience? So this is important to know, because your sense of happiness, if you believe that your sense of happiness is restricted to a feeling, right? If you think that, oh no, my happiness is fleeting, and I know that because in my experience, sometimes I'm happy and sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I feel like this lovely happy feeling, and sometimes I don't. And when I don't, I'm no longer happy. And when I do, I am happy. What we do is we associate happiness as a fleeting, temporary feeling. Happiness, like I said at the start of this video, is pure consciousness, shining unrestricted into our experience. Just like the sun shines unrestricted onto the earth without the clouds of resistance. We call it a sunny day, a beautiful day typically, when there's no clouds. In the UK, that's typically what we say. What a beautiful day it is. It means there's no clouds. Likewise, we say, oh, how happy I am. It means there's no resistance, you see? Which also means that pure consciousness is always shining. Happiness is always there. It's always present. Just like the sun is always present, even if it's a cloudy day. You see? The sun shines all the way through the clouds, otherwise it wouldn't be day. By definition of it being day and rendering it day, there's obviously light. And light is not separate from the sun. The sun doesn't shine light as if the sun is here and then light is over there and it shoots some light out. It is light. The sun is made of light. You see? Consciousness, when it shines into experience, unrestricted by the clouds of resistance, even if there is clouds of resistance, by definition of it being able to shine at all, happiness is there, happiness is present. And it's that which is not resisting experience. So this is the second layer, this is the second recognition, is to recognize happiness is always present, because it's not a state, it's not a feeling. Which means that even in the midst of resistance, that which is experiencing the resistance isn't itself resistance. So awareness doesn't have resistance, you see? It's always in a pristine state of peace and happiness. We just mistake the experience of happiness and we limit it to a feeling, a thought, emotion, or a state of mind. So this is something that is super essential to recognize, because unless we see that, it's always going to be that fleeting emotional feeling that comes and goes. And it's not because if we see it the other way, it's just going to magically turn into that. It's like if you imagine you were experiencing love your entire life, right? By your mother, your father, your friends, your siblings. But imagine that for some reason, maybe you were like 4 years old, you got bullied in school and you just didn't believe you deserved to experience love for whatever reason. You're still experiencing people loving you, right? For the next decade, right? Let's just say that you're 14 years old. But because you have just limited your definition and belief of what you believe love to be and what you believe you deserve, in that scenario, you're not experiencing it even though you're being given love all the time. It's the same thing. It's the same likeness. We're experiencing happiness all the time, but we've limited and restricted what it appears to be because we simply believe it is a fleeting thought, feeling, or emotion. So if there's one takeaway from this video, it would be simply recognize that happiness is not a state of mind. Happiness is more like it's what we call awareness or being, pure being, which is pure existence-ness that we have, when that shines into experience unrestricted by any form of resistance, when it shines into experience unrestricted by any form of resistance, we call it happiness. Now, in order to truly integrate that, we must then see, so the next takeaway would be to recognize then that happiness is actually always present, even in the midst of resistance. So this is why you might have seen other titles and me say, give yourself the freedom to suffer. Once you recognize that first thing that I've shared, truly, which I share in my free community, you can check it out completely free. I do weekly meditations. I have a free course in there. The second thing would be to recognize, it's like recognizing the light on a cloudy day. You see? That would be the second step, recognizing the light on a cloudy day. Even though the clouds of resistance have appeared, the light is still 100% evident. The light is that which, the sun, the clouds of resistance are shining with the light of the sun. Realize that now. That's profound. So that means that the clouds of resistance in your experience are shining with the light of happiness, for they could not take place. You cannot experience resistance or suffering if there is not an empty, peaceful, pristine background in which or on which they take place. Think about that. So, like I mentioned, free communities, links in the description. If you like this video, like it. Why not? It's going to help the algorithm. So that would be appreciative of me. Anyway, have a beautiful day, guys. Take care.